The training programs promising improved results and relationships are predicated on a delusion, the belief that behavior is the problem, not the rot festering within. We treat symptoms while ignoring the philosophical malignancy. It begins with a simple, terrifying admission: you are the problem. Not in the self-help, flagellating sense, but in the brutally honest realization that your own internal architecture is the primary obstacle. The Disney-induced metabolic crisis of two young sisters in a desperate search for restroom access devolves into a miniature, distilled version of all human conflict. Relief is quickly replaced by a perverse desire to prove who suffered more, to claim the moral high ground of bladder control. The issue isn't the urgency of physiological need, but the ego's insistence on establishing dominance over a porcelain throne. Their father, exhibiting a passive-aggressive strain of enlightened parenting, allows the chaos to unfold, mistaking delayed gratification for character building. The lesson learned: inefficiency is a virtue. This is the human condition distilled. We don't pursue objectives, we pursue validation of our subjective real. The intriguing question, what do I really want, is a philosophical imperative, not a therapeutic exercise. It's recognizing that your motives are rarely pure, that self-deception is the default setting. To ask, how would I behave if I truly wanted these results, is to force a confrontation with your own hypocrisy while admitting that you are a flawed and irrational creature. The litany of rhetorical questions, is there a way, are far from genuine inquiries. They are self-soothing affirmations. They are designed to create the illusion of possibility, to forestall the realization of possibility, to forestall the realization that some problems have no easy solutions. Scattered observations that some organizations devour honesty is accurate, but to use this as justification for silence is to succumb to a cowardly pragmatism. It's the logic of the condemned man who refuses to protest his execution because it would be unrealistic to expect mercy. The insistence on clarifying what you don't want is a particularly insidious form of avoidance. It's a way of framing the problem as a deficiency of communication rather than a fundamental incompatibility of needs or desires. To focus on what one doesn't want is to remain trapped in a negative space, a perpetual state of dissatisfaction. Attempting to transform a messy, intractable problem into a neatly packaged, solvable puzzle is a safe haven for self-help scripts. It's form over substance. A sophisticated illusion that obscures the truth. Some problems aren't meant to be solved, merely endured. The relentless focus on clarity and communication is a distraction from the fundamental question: is this relationship a source of chronic disappointment? The pragmatic response is not to seek better communication, but to accept the limitations of human connection and make a rational decision based on self-interest. Because the scripts are written in disappearing ink. The fool's choice tool, a disruptive interruption in a meeting already strained by hours of debate, was offered with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer. Like Descartes' methodological doubt, it asks us to question our immediate perceptions, but unlike Descartes, it fails to acknowledge that sometimes the fool's choice is the only choice available in a world of limited options. Royce, the veteran teacher who'd spent decades prioritizing war stories over neutrons, became a stand-in for the modern educator, a man whose expertise in warfare narratives exceeded his grasp of science, chapter Jum. Embodying the absurdity of institutionalized knowledge. As Royce devolved into demonstrating bayonet offenses during the curriculum presentation, Brent's outburst, a classic example of the punitive impulse, was a stark reminder that our actions are often driven by motivations that are opaque, even to ourselves. Am I the only one who wonders why we even allow this fossil to talk? Did he miss a pill or something? A question shouted over the table would make even the most hardened skeptic suspend judgment, not out of skepticism, but genuine confusion. Brent's reaction, a knee-jerk response to the sheer absurdity, was a far cry from the nuanced and thoughtful approach true dialogue demands. Adding meaning to the pool, a phrase so devoid of substance it could be used as a marketing slogan, is a linguistic obfuscation. It's a demand for contribution masquerading as a call for connection, as if genuine interaction could be achieved through the skillful deployment of metaphors. The semantic placebo is, well, a placebo is, well, a placebo is, well, a placebo. The story of the soldier Bobby is a narrative steeped in the sentimental melodrama of personal redemption. His broken family serves as a convenient backdrop, a dramatic illustration of the power of crucial conversations. The successful conversation on the balcony is presented as a miraculous event. But what remains unsaid? What emotional compromises were made, what resentments were merely suppressed. The narrative is sanitized, stripped of the messy ambiguities that define real life. The implication is that anyone can achieve such a happy ending if they follow some instructions. Focus on what you really want, refuse the fool's choice. These instructions, while well-meaning, ignore the inconvenient truth that human relationships are not algorithmic problems to be solved, but ecosystems of emotion, history, and mutual misunderstanding. Perhaps it was part written by philosophers having a bad day. The "and" question, which supposedly helps you explore both desired outcomes and desired behaviors, is a linguistic contrivance. Designed to circumvent the inevitable conflicts of human interaction, it is a particularly insidious form of manipulation. It's a demand for compromise masquerading as a search for creative solutions, as if genuine connection could be achieved through the skillful framing of questions. At the end, the silence, as always, is deafening.